breaking up, or maybe even making up. Check it.
I missed a part of you. I can't get back.
Don't be a silly Millie. I'm always here for you. Through the thick and thin, not just because we argue.
See, I wanted to be true, but I can't do that.
Why not? What's stopping you? Don't be preposterous. I've got a lot of love, not just a lot of lust.
If I only were so full, I'd be loved back.
Well, that's your own opinion, and you're entitled to it. I'd be lost in oblivion if we don't go through it.
There's nothing wrong with you. I can't fix. I come running with my little bag of tricks. In an emergency, I'm very well prepared. My scalpel, mask, and gloves don't ever get too scared.
Ooh, you're a miracle worker. Ooh, you're the surgeon of love.
For all my medical condition,
Ooh, pave my way to fix me up, and I promise I'll be back again. You work your miracles on me. Your melody was fresh, it touched my soul. Ooh.
invigorating and refreshing and interesting, and it feel like
My heart was drowning in stress, but you brought out the best in me.
and the way you make me feel. I have to wonder if I realize
My love and laser will regenerate your heart. No need for anesthetics. I'm gonna check your charts. Well, you're in shape, you recast you from the mold. A brand new, beautiful woman will blossom from the old.
Ooh, you're a miracle worker. Yes, you are. Ooh, you're the surgeon of love.
my medical condition.
Ooh, pave my way to fix me up, and I promise I'll be back again if you work your miracles on me. You're a miracle worker, yeah. Ooh, you're the surgeon of love.
My medical condition.
Ooh, pave my way to fix me up, and I promise I'll be back again if you work your miracles on me.
Bet you never would believe that you're there. Damian Marley, Dave Stewart, A.R. Rahman, Mick Jagger, Josh Stone, the rubber dub version. Imagine. I mean, think about it. Reaching out to all the lovers. Pick up yourselves. And I'm Brother Gang Marley, by the way.
Work your miracles on me.
I like I let go, yeah. Your bumper is a magnet. I stick on like a magnet. A magnet.
Yeah, it's magnetic. Join Sorogeny on Caribbean Connections, Thursdays at 1. Walk through the sands with poetry from our great leaders and academics. Jive with us to soca, reggae, chutney, and calypso. Get your current cricket results, meet special guests, and more. Every Thursday, 11:30 Eastern, 1 p.m. Newfoundland time.
Baby, magnetic. That thing just sticking on, sticking on, sticking on, sticking on me.
Run it. This one the hit, yo.
Lady Sarojani.
Bless up everyone. This is Jordan Ben from Jamaica here representing for the host, Lady Sarojani with the Caribbean Connection Show. Hey, Power 93.5 FM CHMR 11.
I'm another criminal, so get on your searching. But let me tell you though, if you never know, I'm an island man with an African culture. No drugs, no in my bag.
Wake the village and tell everybody, man, woman, and picnic. It's folk song time. It's time to whine. Hey.
Welcome to Caribbean Connections, y'all. Your weekly dose of Caribbean vibes featuring poetry, cricket commentary, special guests, and more. So don't touch that dial and stay tuned for 2 awesome hours of great Caribbean programming.
Morning, neighbor, morning. I don't want you, can I been morning? When you been a group home, you not been tell me morning. But now because you money down, you hustle for tell me morning. Warrior, Gio go girl, away you go. Lady Bunting walk home, yeah. Why Rich, how you doing? Albion, you too. You know Pablo, hey, yeah man.
Hey, hello, hola, bonjour, guten tag, namaste, assalamu alaikum, buenos dias, buongiorno. Welcome to this new and improved Caribbean Connections program, broadcasting live from the campus of Memorial University on Thursdays, 1 o'clock. I want to thank you all for tapping into today's program. And as we continue to celebrate Black History Month, and we're in week number 3. Oh my gosh, can you guys believe? In total, we would have had 10 awesome individuals highlighting their successes, their journeys, and just overall their awesomeness. But today we have on the program, in a little while, we're going to hear an interview between myself and Chanel Rolle from Nassau, the Bahamas, an alumna of MUN with a degree in musicology. And then later on, in the next hour, 2 to 3, we're going to hear from Vivi TheOnly live. He's an independent artist also from Nassau, Bahamas. But here's the thing, guys. We had Valentine's last week, and we were just having a great time with celebrating Black History Month and the International Resource Center's multicultural show. We didn't get to honor you romantic and just outright lovable people here listening to Caribbean Connections and on the awesome island of Newfoundland and Labrador. So we're going to send out this track to all of you lovebirds. JC Lodge, Someone Loves You, Honey.
Wherever you go, remember someone loves
Yeah. Someone Loves You, Honey, J.C. Lodge. And I want to thank all of you for tapping into here on the island of Newfoundland and Labrador, in Toronto, Regina, Saskatoon, Maple Ridge, Roberts Creek, all in the beautiful coastal British Columbia, New York, Hayden Allen V and Jeremy Denise, and in Connecticut, Washington, D.C., Warnemünde, and Berlin, Germany. Guten Tag, and the U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Croix. Hello to the Atchisons and the Faltines. Hope you guys enjoying that sunshine, man. Send some of it our way to the island, the other island, Newfoundland and Labrador. Welcome.
Make up your mind, I don't bother speaking. Make up your mind, don't stand behind me. Tell your rock so. I saw me say you dig so. I saw me say you come so. Yeah. Love is natural, love is natural, but I don't wanna love for love. I ain't no. Can't let me know about the song, so can't take it no more. Don't you be no. Say now.
Someone loves you, honey. No matter what, just be my guide. Someone loves you, honey, more than anything in the world. Someone loves you, honey. Ooh, yeah. No matter what.
Yeah. That was a little romantic dedication to you awesome folks. J.C. Lodge, and that was Someone Loves You, Honey.
أهلا، أنتم الآن تستمعون لسروجني في Caribbean Connection على 93.5 FM CHMR.ca online Bell Alliant 787 وراجرز كيبل 942.
Welcome back. I am your host, Sarojini, here on Caribbean Connections. Thank you for joining me on this wonderful, sunny Thursday afternoon, the start to the weekend. For this first hour, we have Chanel Rolle. And Chanel was born in the Nassau, the Bahamas. She has extensive choral experience as a member of the Highgrove Singers and the Bahamas National Children's Choir. And guess what, guys? She is also an alumna of MUN, where she received her degree in Voice and Musicology. Chanel hopes to become a professional opera singer and ethnomusicologist. Now, because of Chanel's very busy schedule, we accommodated her and pre-recorded this interview. And she's going to explain all these wonderful terms as musicology and ethnomusicologist. So hang tight. Don't go away. I hope you enjoyed the interview. Welcome to Caribbean Connections. I am your host, Sarojini, and we have here in the studio with us the amazing, the talented, the ever so beautiful Chanel Rolle. Chanel is from the warm country of Bahamas, from Nassau to be exact. And she's got extensive choral experience. She was a member of the Highgrove Singers and the Bahamas National Children's Choir. She is also an alumna of Memorial University, where she just recently received her degree in Voice and Musicology, and she'll tell us all about this. She hopes to become a professional opera singer and ethnomusicologist. Chanel, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing well. How are you today?
I'm good, I'm doing well.
I just read, and I mean, I know you're from the Bahamas because this is our third meeting. Well, more than that, but the third in CHMR. We've met at other venues. But whenever I read the Bahamas, I think of warmth. How do you feel being here in Newfoundland?
I've gotten used to the cold, but I do miss the weather back home.
When did you come to Newfoundland?
I came to Newfoundland in fall 2016.
So it wasn't too bad, weather-wise.
That year was it wasn't a great winter, but it was pretty windy when I came, so it was like a real shock at the beginning.
Right.
But in comparison to, I would say, this winter, it was not as bad.
You didn't stop off the plane and say, man, I'm going back to the Bahamas, did you?
No, I didn't.
And you're right, this past winter, now I've lived in Canada for several years, much longer than you. And for all the years I've lived, this is the worst winter I've seen anywhere. So how did you guys manage?
Luckily, where we live, there is a lot of Bahamians, actually.
Okay.
So we got kind of snowed in, and luckily they're like our neighbors, so they came and like dug us out, and like everyone would come over and just chill by our house, and like we would all like cook together and like share food and stuff. So we managed pretty well, honestly.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of like just worked together, and like, yeah, we hang out a lot in general, but
that's what a lot of people are saying, that Snowmageddon brought everyone together. So you've had some experience with winter here, right?
I have.
Now, just let's switch continents a little bit. When you were in the Bahamas, actually, you were singing at a very young age. You've got extensive music experience with choirs and singers and so on. To take us a little bit on that journey and your family, how they feel about you singing.
My mom, my family has been pretty supportive. They've definitely been really supportive. You know, you have some family members who question it, especially when you say you don't want to teach music, but you want to be like a professional musician. They can't really understand that because there's not a lot of people who do that home, or people who do it, but they have like day jobs, which is understandable. You have to make ends meet. But some of them would be like, oh, when you're going to like get a real job, or like, why don't you just do banking or things like that? And I know they're coming from a place of love and just concern, because they want the best for me at the end of the day, and for me to, you know, just be able to like be stable, because being a musician is a kind of a risky choice, because it's a big hustle. You have to do a lot to try and make ends meet.
Not only in the Bahamas, worldwide, right?
But especially back home, whereas on North America, people would pay more money to support artists, but it's not the same back home. Like, we would support international artists, but sometimes you don't get the same support for local artists, and the appreciation for local music is sometimes not as appreciated. Now, that's changing. I feel like the Bahamian artists are on the rise, and people are really supporting more. But in terms of like paying to attend concerts, which you would pay to go like to a Drake concert, no one would do, or like even people pay for Spotify, or people pay for albums or things like that. You have a lot of people who wouldn't do that at home. So it's different. It's different issues. So I understand the concern, but overall, they've been supportive.
But did you find that hearing, and I know how Caribbean parents are, trust me, but did you feel it was crushing your dreams a little and you had to work harder, or did you still feel, I have the support and I'm going to prove I can do this?
Well, my immediate family they're 100% supportive, so I feel like when it comes to extensive members, it didn't bother me, it didn't affect me as much. Sometimes you do get discouraged, because it's not an easy path, and it's not something you could just like study for. It's not something you could just pick up a book and do. It's a skill that you have to kind of develop and continually work at, which is kind of harder, because it takes time to develop a skill. It takes time to build muscle memory to do certain things.
Absolutely.
But overall, I try to stay encouraged, and from a young age, my mom supported that dream. and she recognized that I had a gift, and she tried to put me in certain things, or she encouraged me to do certain things that would help me to like learn more or do more.
Like what? I know you sang a lot in the Bahamas, so what are some of the things you did to help you on this journey?
Yeah, until I came here, well, a little bit before, most of my experience back home was just choral. We have a lot of choirs back home, so stemming back from the church, like being involved in like church Christmas productions or things like that, like you sang in church, you did different things, and did things in the community like the national organizations, like the National Youth Choir. So I was in the National Children's Choir for about 3 years, did the National Youth Choir for about 4 years, Highgrove Singers for about 4 years. I even did a stint in the Bahamas All-Star Band because I did played saxophone as well for quite a while. So, and then on top of that, you have school choirs, like my choirs from primary school, junior school, high school, college, things like that. And you get different experiences from that. And with the national organizations, you tend to travel to represent the Bahamas, to represent the country. So...
And where did you travel to?
With the National Youth Choir especially, I traveled quite a bit. But the All-Star Band, I went to Florida a few times. We competed in the Florida Classics. And we also did the Bethune-Cookman, which is HBCU, their homecoming. We did a march with them. And... with the youth choir, I went to Atlanta, I went to Washington, D.C., New York, Haiti, Dominican Republic. Then we did a Caribbean cruise where we performed on the cruise and performed in different countries, wherever we docked. And then we ended up to Belize, Honduras, Cayman Islands. I think it was another one, can't remember right now. But
So you did a lot of traveling for music while living in Nassau.
yeah, while living, I did a lot while living back home.
Yeah. So here you are, you're ready to take the plunge, the big journey to the land of milk and honey. So why Memorial in Newfoundland?
Well, I had two teachers at the College of the Bahamas, which is now the University of the Bahamas. Both of them are international teachers. They're not Bahamian teachers. One of them is from Mississippi and the other one is from Minnesota. And my teacher, Dr. Lee, she is a pianist and also like a vocal coach. So we were pretty close, and she would try to help me with certain things, and she encouraged me to like go and do workshops. She was the first person to like tell me about like opera workshops and things like that. So I went to my first workshop in Atlanta. She was the person who kind of helped me out with that because she teaches there.
Awesome.
And she knew that I had the potential to take opera seriously, to have a professional career in it. And so she knew a teacher at Memorial, Dr. Schiller, who was my voice teacher throughout university, because they did their PhDs together. So that's how I first learned about Memorial. And then Dr. Gangelhoff, the other prof, she taught at Memorial while they were in transition trying to find a flute teacher one year. So she was, while one teacher was on sabbatical, and they were trying to find someone to replace her, Dr. G came that year and she taught flute. And she's a musicologist.
So what is a musicologist?
Yes, a musicologist is somebody who studies music, basically. So music is different aspects of music. You have historians who just study music history, and it could be whether it's the history of opera, history of like symphony history, whatever. It's like different types of things. The area that I am interested in is ethnomusicology, and that is also what Dr. G is interested in. And Memorial has an amazing musicology program, especially at the undergrad level, because actually a lot of people don't get to study musicology at the undergrad level. It's more of a specialty in a master's level.
Oh wow!
So Memorial is Memorial is one of the few programs in North America, because even in the States, who has a musicology program at the undergrad level, and it's very good. It's run by Dr. Katie Sago, and it's a really extensive program. So I wanted to do a program that allowed me to do musicology at the undergrad level and also opera, because you may go to a school that has a voice program, but usually when you have a school that has undergrad and masters, not a lot of undergrad students get the opportunity to perform in operas. It usually goes to the master's student.
Yeah.
So I wanted a program that would give me, as an undergraduate student, the opportunity to do that. So Memorial just had a lot of perks for it.
So this was really, when I'm hearing you, a great choice.
It was a great choice.
I mean, you bypassed the big Toronto and Vancouver and Calgary because, as Caribbean people, those places I just mentioned, Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary, we have there's such a big Caribbean-based community that everybody, I have to go there, even for 10 minutes. But, you made that choice to come here knowing we are an island on the rock, but you made it intelligently. You were equipped with all the necessary tools. Well, why am I going to Memorial? Well, this is why I'm going, right? And that's why I asked you, because like I said, the big centers have so much more, but it's the area of study you're doing, am I right?
Yeah.
So really, when you came here, and you must have found Newfoundland to be a very musical place, the arts, visually, musically inclined, like everyone says Newfoundland is a place like that. Did you find that?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't think a lot of people realize, especially living here, how musical of a city Newfoundland is in comparison to other provinces or cities, because you have a lot of opportunities here. You have the NSO, the symphony, Newfoundland Symphony Orchestra. Then you have so many different choirs. There's a big choral community here as well.
Absolutely.
And you have people who put on a lot of productions, a lot of musicals, opera and Avalon, a lot of operas. So a lot of cities actually don't have those. And
Yes.
Newfoundland is definitely one that does have it. So you get a lot of opportunities to do things. A lot of pubs where you get to perform, a lot of things, a lot of people. It's just a really good musical community here, and that's another thing that I was looking for in my choice of a university.
And on that good note, you just mentioned a few points which I would love to hear about and elaborate, like singing in choirs and clubs and an opportunity for opera, whatever. So let's take a quick break, Chanel, and we will be right back. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you're enjoying this great discussion between Chanel and myself. We're going to continue to go on this great journey with Chanel. But kudos to Chanel, and she gave me a fantastic selection of Bahamian tracks. And we're going to play one that Chanel loves, and this is called Lady E. My Islands in the Sun.
Coconut water, boxing day on the boom day, party all night and day, and I said, my islands in the sun, Carnival time, this your boss man, I learn to party, this junker, they got me get so my islands in the sun, Carnival time, this your junker, break and scraping, winding up and misbehaving.
Oh yeah.
Come on, what's the move? Basic time. Come on.
Break and scrape and jump the move. March the roads and bust the move. Grab your pants, stand to heel and go. That's how we behave, yes, go. Just because you're proud and strong. Rock it out, let's beat that drum. Wind your waist, gal, come alive. This carnival juggernaut style.
My islands in the sun, Carnival time, this your boss man, I learn to party, this junker, they got me get so my islands in the sun,
man, you're not gonna get better than this. You're listening to the awesome vibes of the Bahamian artist Lady E, My Islands in the Sun.
Mama tell me deep inside. So raise your hand in the air. To make people say it. I say, whoa, my islands in the sun. Bahamian time at last. When I turn the party to strong and move like a pivot. So my islands in the sun. Bahamian time at last. Couldn't break us up. And I say, whoa, give me the colors, give me the drums. We're gonna party till the morning come. Y'all wind up your waist, like you come to mash up the place. It's Bahamian Carnival. Boys, my islands in the sun. My islands in the sun.
We hope you're enjoying today's program. For this first hour, we're listening to a recorded interview between Chanel Rolle and myself. We'll take a quick break and we will be right back.
Hey there, take a listen at this. All this. All this too. My name is Ugwede Ikechukwu. Join me every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. where we do everything Africa. From the music to the current news to the history, from the Horn of Africa up to the north to the west and down to the south. And again, back here to St. John's, that's every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. right here on the One African Show.
Run it! This one, the hit, yo. Greetings, everyone. This is Jordan Bent from Jamaica, and you're listening to 93.5 CHMR FM. Or check us out online at chmr.ca. And say, sir, can I speak to you? Let me see your bag. We smell something funny. We said, true, that's a pardon me. I'm another criminal, so get on your searching. But let me tell you, though, if you never know, I'm an island man with an African culture. No drugs, no in my bag.
Yes, we're jamming with Sarojini on Caribbean Connections, 93.5 FM, CHMR.ca.
Hi, I'm Jalen Taylor, and I would like to remind you to not drink and drive because many people lose their lives every day, so please be safe and responsible. This public service announcement is brought to you by CHMR.
All right, welcome back. You're listening to a recorded interview between myself and Chanel Rolle. So without further ado, we're going to move on to part 2. Welcome back. My name is Sarojini, and I'm the host of Caribbean Connections. And we have here in the studio with us Chanel Rolle. Chanel is an alumna of Memorial University. She received her degree in Voice and Musicology, hopes to become a professional opera singer and ethnomusicologist. And we're having such a grand time talking about music and warmth and sun and sand. But on that good note, and I'm sure a few of our listeners would like to know, tell us what's an ethnomusicologist. Chanel?
Well, an ethnomusicologist is somebody who studies music in relation to specific cultures and societies. So as you study the music of a land, the music of a people, their culture, and it's a bit of almost like sociology too, because you have to like have the background of the country itself, social things that happen, historical events, and how music plays into that, how it affected music, and like why they have these traditions and stuff.
That's fantastic. And this leads me to the next question. I know you've sung with several different bands, all of different genres. So studying or becoming an ethnomusicologist, this is really preparing you for that. So tell us the bands you've sung with, the venues, and what you've done. We know you did a lot of stuff in the Bahamas. So here in Newfoundland, what musical journey have you taken?
Well, back home, besides classical stuff, I did a lot of folk things back home, dealing with Bahamian music and other Caribbean music. And since I've been here, I sing with the MUN Latin Ensemble, which developed into Isla Son, which is a group that performs Latin music outside of the MUN group. And we perform at like different pubs and different events for RIAC, or like we do a lot of events with NL Salsa NL. We do a lot of events for them, and also the Spanish club here, they try to host sometimes some events, so we usually perform for that as well. And then I also perform with a group called Katapa, run by Jake Luska, and it's a group that does Afropop and reggae music. So, and
I've heard you guys at Tambolo.
Yes.
And also when there was the relief fund raising efforts for Hurricane Dorian. Right?
Yes.
So that was fantastic, right? How are you finding this experience with the various groups and folks?
I enjoy challenging myself musically in terms of like the different languages, and it's good to get the experience, because like now I could say that I have really good experience playing small percussion and singing at the same time. And I'm probably like doing some dancing, things like that. Like I've done dancing and singing before.
Yes.
With the National Youth Choir, because like we have a classical section where we just like do classical music. Then we have a folk section where we do costumes and you sing and dance at the same time. But like playing an instrument while you're performing is like so different, because you have to like focus on two different things happening at one time.
And a lot of people take that for granted, you know, but as a musician, this is challenging, am I right? Because
it is.
You have the whole band there, and if you are offbeat, things go off.
It does throw things off, so you have to really be in sync. And I think like natives, like when you look at those Cuban bands playing like traditional Cuban music, it looks so effortless and so easy.
I know.
But it's so much harder, and it's fun learning it and mastering it and getting it ready for performance. Like it's fun doing that stuff, and it's fun meeting new people and, you know, just learning different styles of music. And I'm interested in that anyway from like the whole ethnomusicologist standpoint. So I like that stuff.
Now, you said you hope to become a professional opera singer.
I do.
And ethnomusicologist. So do you have to embark on more studies to become an ethnomusicologist?
I do. Well, I've done a part of the ethnomusicology degree here in MUN. You have a graduating essay where you do research of some sort, and you do like a big paper about like 40 to 50 pages, and you have to do, it's basically like a mini thesis in my mind. That's what I consider it. So I've done research there. I do want to continue ethnomusicology studies, but I do want to right now focus on my opera stuff right now, because I feel like this is the time. And then maybe after that, I would consider continuing more education on the ethnomusicology standpoint. But it's not going to stop me from personally doing research and doing presentations. And, you know, it's not going to stop me from doing things in the research base. But in terms of studies, I'm going to hold off on the musicology studies for now and just focus on the singing stuff.
Now, I'm going to ask you this question, and it is not meant to be discriminatory, or I'm not asking it in a biased or unbiased way, but I'm sure we all have seen the opera singers on stage. And as a talented, gorgeous, smart black woman, young black woman, now you're seeing more black opera singers coming up. Do you find that in a smaller setting, and we know Newfoundland is such a musically inclined place, there is so much going on. You open your door and you can hear music coming from everywhere. Do you find that you're given some opportunities here?
I definitely do find that I'm given opportunities here. And I don't want to just say because I'm from a different place, because it's not it. But I do think my differences have benefited me in some ways. And also, I work hard too. So I feel that I have a lot of different things to offer than the usual. And I think because of that, people are interested in hearing me or seeing me perform.
So you're feeling good about your journey, and I'm sure your family's feeling even better because you're getting out there. People are seeing you, hearing you. You're with different groups and bands. And you mentioned that you also played in pubs. So are you talking about mostly the pubs in St. John's or elsewhere?
Well, in terms of that question, I was just speaking about the classical music aspect.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just speaking about that aspect. But yeah, I just feel I have been presented with opportunities too, because like a lot of people aren't able to like belt or aren't able to like grasp onto different languages. So I feel because that's something that I'm able to do that has afforded me certain opportunities.
Absolutely. So things seem to be working out well for you.
Yeah, things are.
So what are your plans now? Because a lot of us know getting into music, whether it be pop, opera, romantic, Latin, jazz, blues, the start is always difficult. Are you prepared for what you're seeing and what's coming at you? Is it making you feel a little bit discouraged, or it just makes you want to work harder?
Every day it's up and down. You have different struggles with different things. With the classical stuff, I know I love it, but sometimes you do get discouraged based on just certain individual technical issues that I have to work on. And like right now I'm in the process of auditioning for my master's, and so I'm preparing for that. And like there are things I need to tighten up on that I'm working on, that I'm tightening up. And sometimes that could be...
Just to interrupt, what do you do to audition for a master's in musicology? Am I right? Or?
Yeah, no, for an opera.
Master's in opera. So
Yeah.
what do you do?
A voice. Well, what you do, you do the applications, but there's a recording part. So usually applications are due at the end of October, beginning of November, around that time. And you fill out the applications, get references, you record audition tapes, like pre-screening tapes or like audition tapes, and you submit them to the schools, and then they go through them, and if you're accepted, they invite you for a second round of auditions, and most times you have to come and do a live audition. So at the end of this month, I'm auditioning at MUN, but I'm also auditioning at Glen Gould's, which is a conservatory in Toronto.
It's a great studio there, yeah. So you've got a big plan ahead of you, and I know even though you're an alumna of MUN, you're working, you're getting your feet wet with different bands, and I know this weekend you're also taking part with the MUN multicultural show, so a lot more people are going to be listening to you there as well, right?
Yes.
So are you feeling a bit satisfied with how things are going musically here in Newfoundland?
I am satisfied. I do want to challenge myself more. There are just some personal things that I know I need to work on as a performer. Like the performance aspect, sometimes I could get a bit shy, and I'm not the most dramatic person or not like that type of singer. But that's something I need to work on. But yeah, I'm happy with the opportunities I'm getting. It's just managing everything, like balancing everything could sometimes be tricky because like, yeah, I'm a graduate now. So I've been like working, and then like you still have these rehearsals and you still have these performances on top of like applications and all the other little things you have to do. So balancing everything has kind of been tricky, but I'm really trying to like work on it because I do enjoy doing this stuff. So that's been the challenge.
One of my mentors told me one time, if you love what you're doing, you'll never be a job. You just wake up and you want to do it, right? And of course, in the midst of all of that, you have folks at Caribbean Connections always sending you messages, oh, I need this, I need that. But listen, we understand what you guys are going through. But like you know, we all have commitments and deadlines. And I think it's just fascinating how you can be on this journey and have all of us be a part of it. So how's the family back home? Like, are you planning to go back to the Bahamas and do some stuff there, or you prefer to be in Canada or in North America on this next phase of your studies?
For this next phase of my studies, I definitely think that Canada is probably the best place for me right now. Because the music program back home is developing. It's not that developed. They just got the bachelor's program in music, which is good. They didn't have it there when I was there. So I think it officially started last year. But yeah, so it's developing. So I feel like for what I want to do in terms of like developing my skills more, training more, this is the place for me. But I do want to go home eventually. Maybe. I probably do want to settle down and teach, but I want to teach at the university level. So wherever that may be, I know that's something that's in mind, but I definitely within the future want to give back to my country and probably do workshops.
Do you miss the warmth and sunshine?
I definitely do. I hate having to layer up all the time and always have to check the weather, see what type of shoes I need to put on or things like that. It's a lot. It's just easier to just like wake up and go, and it's pretty much summer and spring all the time.
And I need to know this. Do you find your voice is affected depending on the temperature and weather? Do you find that?
Sometimes when it gets colder, because you turn on the heat so much more, the air tends to be drier, especially in like your bedroom or something like that. So a lot of times, especially when I have a lot of heavy singing coming up, I really have to use a humidifier. If not, I'm extra dry, and that irritates my throat.
So inquiring minds want to know, do you have to do exercises for the voice and drink certain things? And I've seen singers wrap scarves around their necks when they're on stage or prior to going. Like I watched, I'm bringing Celine Dion to the forefront only because she is one of my heroes when it comes to music. But I've watched a lot of documentaries on how she rose to fame. And I've seen her like with warmth and scarves and all of that. Do you find that you need to do that, coming from a warm place singing now to a very cold place singing?
I don't know if I could say it's a big difference. Like you always had to hydrate. You always had to like climatize, like make sure you wrap up when you need to, but also make sure you take off what you need to, because you don't want to like continually wear warm things inside. Then when you go outside, they're ineffective. You know?
Right. So I mean, there is a bit of work in taking care of your voice.
There's a lot of work. And you need to know, especially the worst thing that for me is getting sick. I tried to stay as healthy as I could, and I had a really hard year last year, but I was like sick very often for some reason. And at one point, like I missed like almost a chunk of my last term singing because I was so sick.
But what about performances and you're ill for that period? You just cancel and they find someone else?
Pretty much, you try to push through it, but it depends on the type of singing I'm doing. I find sometimes it's easier to push through or not. Like sometimes if I'm just belting, I can push through that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to classical stuff, it makes it way more harder when I'm sick. But I have to like stay hydrated. I drink a lot of water throughout the day. Sometimes try to drink at least 1 tea a day. Use my humidifier often. I try to stay warm. And like you said, you asked if you have to do exercises as a singer. Just like an athlete, you have to like warm up your voice. So like you warm up your body, you have to warm up your voice. So we do like vocal leases and just like warm-ups to prepare our voice for heavy singing.
But some people don't realize, and I ask this question partly naively, but also I've seen singers prepare, and I was amazed at the amount of things they have to do. And they go on stage and they're putting on 2-hour concerts. And sometimes, like you say, you're belting out those notes. And I'm like, how are they keeping it together, right?
And it's like building a stamina too. So when you practice continuously, because your show may only be like an hour, but you may have like a 2-hour rehearsal, or you may only be singing for like 10 minutes, but you may be rehearsing for like an hour or two, just working on stuff. So eventually you build up that stamina. And for me too, like I have to watch what I eat. Certain foods affect my voice. Every singer is different, but you have to know what works better for you. Usually they say to stay away from a lot of dairy products because it makes you very phlegmy because of like the excess mucus that it gives you.
So do you find drinking more herbal teas and having like a pretty stable diet with less fats and oils and lactose is good?
For me, I find 3 things bother me. Dairy could bother me, caffeine could bother me, and sugars. Like when I drink high sugar or caffeine, sometimes it just irritates me. And the same thing with dairy products. Actually, I never used to drink it before, because if I did, like sometimes I would get too phlegmy, and it just gives you like a bunch of like drip and all like gross stuff. But now I realize, for me, after I'd cut it out for so long, that even I would drink so much water. Even when you drink too much water, it could wash away some of the phlegm that you do need, because then you're too dry. So it's like finding that balance, especially in this weather where it's, like I said, it was drying because you have to use heat all the time. I do need a bit of that because then it coats my throat good enough for what I need, you know?
Well, you've given us a lot of good tips, not only for singers, but like people talking or having to give a speech or something. These are all very, very valuable tips. So thank you for that, Chanel. And on that good note, we are going to take a quick break, and we're going to have a few sips of our water and herbal tea, and we will be right back. Stay tight, or hang tight, folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with Chanel Rolle. Hey, I hope you're enjoying this beautiful discussion between Chanel and myself. We'll take a very quick break and be right back.
I'm David Suzuki. How far away is your next meal? The average lunch or dinner travels 2,400 kilometers to get to your table. Eating local means eating fresher and combating global warming. The future is in your hands and on your table.
Think globally, eat locally. Eat your way to a healthier planet and a healthier you. Find out how at davidsuzuki.org.
Toronto, this is DJ Eruption. You're listening to the Sarojini from Caribbean Connections. Peace out.
right, you're driving to the great Bahamian sounds of the Bahamian artists Bahamen dance to the Junkaroo. So here's the thing, guys. We are going to move on to the last part of Chanel's interview here with Caribbean Connections. Welcome back. Here we are. We're almost coming to the end of today's program with Chanel. So, folks, hang tight. We're going to wrap it up here in a little bit with Chanel. But first, I'm going to ask Chanel Rolle from Nassau, the Bahamas, an alumna of Memorial. She received her degree in Voice and Musicology. So, Chanel, tell us, for folks setting out on a musical journey, we know it's more than just standing up singing. There's studying, there's a plan, there's support system, there's some negativity that you have to ignore, move on, listen to the people that you care about, love you, support you. What advice do you have for these young upcoming musicians?
If you love it, like you said earlier, it wouldn't feel like a job.
Right.
And success is not a straight road. So sometimes you may have a plan, like by this time you expect certain things to be set up a certain way, or for you to accomplish certain things, but be patient with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it takes you to do multiple things to get to one goal. Like you have to work extra hard to get to one goal.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do want to study music, and like for me, I didn't really have certain resources home, but I found it through choral singing. Like that's kind of how I got some training and got some opportunities and got myself out there. So find something in your community related to the field, and do that until you could do better, and then constantly work at it and try to associate yourself with certain organizations and look for teachers and look for people online too. Look for people like you who are doing it to kind of stay encouraged, because sometimes it is hard to be encouraged, but there are people out there like you who are doing it. So sometimes that can be a thing.
Now, you mentioned that you were also teaching little ones back home and in Newfoundland. Tell us a bit about that.
Here in Newfoundland, I was teaching at a studio called Long McQuaid on Kenmount Terrace, and I taught voice, so it would be one-on-one lessons for about a half hour, and you would teach students like different like vocal things, like vocal techniques, work on music, work on songs, and just like basic music foundation. And back home, I kind of did the same thing. I taught at a school named Queen's College. It's an all-age school, and I taught in the kindergarten and elementary section. So I taught music. I was a specialist there. Yeah, music teacher there. So I taught like the little kiddies pretty much.
Yeah, it must feel very rewarding because, I mean, these kids, the little ones, they're so innocent. They have this big plan. They all would like to be like a little Justin Bieber, just using his name.
They're so excited all the time, and they're very, very loving too, so they would always make you feel great.
Yeah. So you found that experience really good and rewarding for your musical career too, right?
I found it rewarding in the way that it's rewarding to see students get a task, then work at it, and then completing it. Or like kids finding talents in themselves they didn't know they have, and forcing them to get out of their comfort zones and perform and do things. That was rewarding for me. But I must say, I did learn that teaching in the school system is not for me. So I know that only university level I think I could do.
Right.
Maybe high school, but I feel like university is where it's at for me.
Exactly.
So that taught me that.
You have some performances coming up. Did you want to tell us about them?
Yes. The International Student Resource Center, they are having their 34th multicultural show, and it's happening this Saturday actually. It's taking place at the Holy Heart Theater, and the doors open at 6:30. So that's located on 55 Bonaventure Avenue, and they have a lot of students, just students from around the world who attend MUN. They're showcasing their talents and showcasing things from their various countries. It's some really good stuff. The dress rehearsal was really like amazing, really nice to see. There was a girl there who really like blew me away. I think she's Indian. She did like a traditional dance with her whole garb and everything, and that was really cool to see. But there's so many more people there who did like so many cool different things, and I think it's nice and kind of refreshing to see that in Newfoundland, because like Newfoundland has a strong culture itself. They have a strong musical background and a strong identity of who they are, and you're surrounded by it all the time, but I don't think people get to see the music and the culture and things like that from other countries so much. Maybe in food, I feel like, because people always like to eat, so people always go and try to find like diversity in food. Absolutely. But actually seeing the different performances, hearing the different languages, seeing the dances, seeing the things people do, and you have Newfoundlanders performing too, like people doing that stuff. It's interesting to see it all in one room, and just to like, it's cool, like it's really fun to experience that, and it's something you don't get to do every day. So
what are you singing this Saturday at the multicultural show?
Well, it's a bit of a surprise, but I would say that I'm doing a reggae song. Yeah, I'm not doing a song from Bahamas because the tracks are always hard to find. Like, you can find a track to accompany me, but reggae tracks are easier to find.
Yes.
So I'm doing a reggae song.
Well, listen, we'll all be there, my family and I, and a few friends, so we cannot wait to hear you sing. Well, I can't wait to hear you sing again. So certainly we'll be there. Just to wrap it up, because I know you're a busy gal and you've got things to do, and I've already taken up your time, but it certainly was an honor. What do you want to tell folks out there? Not only say people in the music field, but to tie it all up together with what you've studied, what you've done, the path you're taking to further your career in studying as well as practical, wherever you go. What do you want to tell us? What advice do you want to give these, up-and-coming Taylor Swifts and who are the latest Beyoncé's, and J-Lo's, I know everybody's got their dream. Oh, I want to be on that big stage one day. I want to be singing at the Super Bowl, right? So, we know it's a journey. You've said it. You started out as a little girl, and here you are today doing so much. So, what do you want to tell these kids coming out now?
Stay encouraged. That's the main thing. You always have to seek out opportunities. And once you find yourself in the right community, in the right environment, then opportunities will find you. So you have to keep at it. And also, I had some.
You plan to go away too, part of it. I
do plan to go away.
So that would be another change for you. When you came to Newfoundland, that was the start of your career, on a more, structured, lack of a better word, on a more structured path, because now you were studying at the post-secondary level, you were meeting all these amazing singers and deciding what you want to do. And now here you are continuing the journey, right?
Yeah, and sometimes it takes you to step out of your comfort zone. That was what I wanted to say. You have to, you can't do new things or discover new things, succeed in certain things unless you step out of your comfort zone. It's not going to be, everything's not going to come easy. Sometimes you have to, do something new, do something different, do something that you didn't know you were able to do in order to find out, hey, I like it like this. Or challenge yourself. Give yourself a task, give yourself a goal, work at it. So sometimes those things could be uncomfortable. That process could be very uncomfortable and very hard, but it'll be worth it at the end. And that's something that you could then conquer, something you then worked at, and you learned something through it. Even if you didn't master it the way you wanted to, you learned something throughout the process of doing that. So,
well said. Are there any other performances you would like us to know about? We know there's the multicultural show, and I know by the time we air this broadcast, the multicultural show would have passed, but we actually publicized the show last week, so I'm sure a lot of people would have heard you by now. But are there any other venues and programs coming up that you would like us to know about? today?
Yes, well, as everyone knows, or everyone should know, February is Black History Month.
Yes.
And they're actually having a Black History Month celebration taking place at the Legion, which is near Kitty Vidi. And it's being hosted by Starfest. They have a huge lineup of different performances. They have a fashion show, I think. It's so many different things, a lot of native food. So they're trying just to celebrate, to wrap up the celebration of this month. So that's taking place on the 22nd of February. It starts at 6 and it goes until about midnight. So that's something that I'm really excited about. I'll be performing with Tapa.
Awesome. Can't wait again. Chanel, I do want to thank you so much for coming today. It's been my pleasure and an honor. I learned so much about the music community. Thank you for all the little tips. Thank you for sharing your time, telling us about your amazing journey. And we all wish you well. We wish you the best with everything. All the best and continued success in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You take good care, and we'll be talking soon. Folks, don't go away. The second part of our program is coming right up, so stay tuned. All right, I hope you guys are having an awesome time here. And we have our second guest in the studio, Vivi TheOnly, but I hope you thoroughly enjoyed the interview with Chanel and myself. So to take us out for this first hour, we're going to hear from another Bahamian artist, Avi, Blame It on the Water.
Water, say what? Foolish Jim, get her pill. And now they got a son and a daughter. They blame it on the water. Oh, yeah. They blame it on the water. They blame it on the water. Oh, yeah. Woo. The water. What you mean the water? What I mean? Oh, they blame it on the water. The water? They blame it on the water. They blame it on the water. Oh, yeah. The water. Check this out, look out. Humpty Dumpty was drinking on the water. Oh, Humpty Dumpty had a great Bring it on, Bram. All his drinking buddies, all his drinking friends couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back there again. Cause the water.
All right, if you want to blame somebody, you got to blame it on the water. That is Avi. And you just heard the recorded interview between Chanel and myself. And as I mentioned before, Vivi TheOnly, an independent artist, is right here in the studio. So we're going to move on with the program. Continue listening to Blame It on the Water. Avi.
Your bumper is a magnet. I stick on like a magnet. A magnet.
Yeah, it's magnetic. Join Sarojini on Caribbean Connections, Thursdays at 1. Walk through the sands with poetry from our great leaders and academics. Jive with us to soca, reggae, chutney, and calypso. Get your current cricket results, meet special guests, and more. Every Thursday, 11:30 Eastern, 1 p.m. Newfoundland time.
Baby, a magnetic, that thing just sticking on, sticking on, sticking on, sticking on me.
Run it. This one the hit, yo. Ladies Sarojini.
Bless up everyone. This is Jordan Ben from Jamaica here representing for the host, Lady Sarojini with the Caribbean Connection Show. Hey, Power 93.5 FM CHMR 11.
Pardon me, I'm another criminal, so get on your searching. But let me tell you though, if you never know, I'm an island man with an African culture. The drugs not in my bag.
This is 93.5 CHMR FM.
this is Vanilla from New York City, and you're listening to Sarojini on the Caribbean Connections.
أهلا، أنتم الآن تستمعون لسروجيني في Caribbean Connection على 93.5 FM CHMR.ca online بل ألاينت 787 وروجرز كيبل 942.
Welcome back, guys. So to usher in the second segment with another Bahamian, Vivi TheOnly, we're going to hear it from the Bahamian artist Therese Hepburn, All Up in My Business.
Always in my way, getting on my case. He follow me to breakfast, take me to lunch, get fired from Tribune. Now he work for the Punch. Now I must admit, he was a little cute, but I ain't give him no reason to go look at my birthday suit. You done all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? I feel like statue, like you can't move. Get on this deep, might as well get the proof. Hey, all up in my business, boy. Now what you gonna do? What? Yeah. Hey, yes, smile. All up in it. He been in my closet, smelling my shoes. He round my clothesline, say he looking for clues. Thinking in my garbage, searching in my drawers. He saw some pictures, he mowed hit the floor. He took out his pen and started to write. The more he looked up, the more he liked. You done all up in my business. Man, what you gonna do? Acting like statue, like you can't move. Get on gone this deep, might as well get me proof. Hey, all up in my business, boy. Now what you gonna do? Bring me horns. Boom. Hey. Now that's a reporter. You gotta wait, boy. Investigate. Deep investigation. Check this out. See? Josie put his hand in his pocket, make me pitch. Oh yeah. Start to scratch me just where I had an itch. I said, hey, my boy. Fight. What you think this is? You must was tried. If I had a man like Josie, I will L-I-C-K. All up in my business. Now what you gonna do? I feel like statue.
All right, I can see you're winding down, your hips moving, and you're getting it from Caribbean Connections. You're listening to the great Bahamian artist, Therese Hepburn, All Up in My Business, or in my business as we say in the Caribbean. So here's the thing, we have Vivi TheOnly in the hot seat here in the master control room at the studios of CHMR on the campus of Memorial University in North America's oldest city. Yes, folks, North America's oldest city, St. John's. And Vivi, he's an independent artist also from Nassau, the Bahamas, representing Chippingham. He's gonna, did I say it right? Chippingham. He's gonna explain all of that. So we are gonna check out his music videos, but he's gonna tell us all about this journey and being a student at MUN. But if you want to check out his biographical music videos and expressive music form, you go to all platforms. We're going to jive a little more with Therese Hepburn, All Up in My Business.
Now what you gonna do? You done all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? You done all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? Ooh, ooh, ooh. All up in my business, boy. Now what you gonna do? Ooh, all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? Ooh, all up in my business. Ow. Now what you gonna do? Ooh, all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? All up in my business. I'm talking to you.
All right, we're going to get down to business here with Vivi. Welcome.
Go.
Vivi TheOnly.
Oh, all right. We're going to move with the flow, as you say. Keep the flow going. Well, listen, Vivi, we got a lot to tell. And, you know, you have a fascinating story and an interesting one. And I'm glad both of you, Chanel and you, are from the Bahamas, sort of tie everything together. But first things first, when did you arrive in Canada from the island of the Bahamas to the island of Newfoundland?
If I could remember, it was August 31st, 2017. Like, I remember the date.
Oh my gosh. So why are you remembering? Well, I mean, all of us, I think, remember the exact day we arrived in Canada or wherever. So what impacted you that you will never forget August 31st? You could make a mistake and say the 30th, right?
Honestly, to be real with you, when I traveled, because that's the first time I was in Canada, so when I look at my visa, they stamp it, so that's why I remember that.
And these are impactful times. They're trying times. You were quite young, right? When you came to Canada, late teens.
I was about 22, 23.
When you came here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you weren't totally scared, were you?
No. You can't fear nothing on this earth.
I know. Did you come with your family?
No, I came by myself.
Did you know anyone in Newfoundland?
Yeah, I knew one person. But then over time, I met new people.
Yeah. And I've seen you around campus, and we'll get into you performing and hosting and all of that. And I think your circle has certainly expanded. What did you come to Memorial to do?
Well, originally it was for me to do school. So, like, if you go to my account, you will see that I'm a civil engineering student. Perfect. And that's like the main thing right now, like just to get my education, get my degree so I could try and help people back home. But yeah, that was the main reason for the initial travel.
And as good Caribbean parents, and I'm going to put on a little Guyanese accent here, they say, boy, you got to put your schoolwork first, you know.
Well, at least with my situation, they know I know how to handle what I got to handle. So, like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I know I need to get that out the way. I can't let nothing, like, distract me from that.
Yes, I know. So, mom and dad and your family back home, how are they feeling about you being here in Newfoundland?
They probably miss me more than I miss back home, but I miss them though. But like, it is what it is, cause like from when I was young too, I always been the type of person to like take care of myself. So it's like it's the same thing. I'm just in a different part of the world, and it's like they already instilled so much in me. So it's like they already know I know what I should do and what I shouldn't do when I out here on the road or wherever I am.
They put a lot of trust in you, man.
Yeah, they have to.
And that's a good thing,
It
you know,
is,
because
it
a
is.
lot of parents, you know, they're going to fly every 6 months if they can, or bring you back home.
Believe it or not, from I was like 12, 13, I had keys to the house, the gates, everything. So it's like I could come and go. But it's like I said, my father, he instilled a lot in me. So it's like I know what I shouldn't do when I go out. So it's like he already know, okay, if you get in trouble, I'm not coming to see you when you go up the road.
You on your own.
Yeah.
You know, like they say, you bake your cake, you're going to eat it.
Yeah.
You make your bed, you're going to lie on it. I've heard that way
For
too
real.
many times. Now, you didn't come to St. John's first. Where did you go?
I stopped in Toronto for like, I guess overnight, and then I left the next morning, like around 3, 4 a.m. Then that's when I came to St. John. Well, Corner Brook.
I was going to say, right, yeah.
Then I spent 8 months there.
At Grenfell campus.
right.
How did you like it there?
Honestly, it was cool, but it's like, I don't know if it's my lifestyle, it's just different. Because like, I tell people too, if you try to compare back home to here, it's like, you could compare the type of energy or vibe from like a Toronto to Nassau. And then you could say like St. John's is like kind of like a Freeport type of energy. And then like the other towns or little cities around the place, they like the family islands. And it's like, I'm from the islands, but we call the island, I'm from the city in terms of being in the Bahamas. So it's like I have a different type of lifestyle, I guess, but it's cool though. It's like different experience.
You're from Nassau. What's the population?
I think we got like probably 250,000 to like 300,000. And the island only like 21 by 7, that's miles. So it's like very small for so much people, but you don't really feel that way.
But this is the population of Nassau.
That's just Nassau, yeah.
And on the entire island of Newfoundland, it's about 500,000, 500,000.
And you know, that's a big island.
This is a huge island. I was actually amazed how big this island is. So I mean, at Grenfell, it's smaller. So did you find adjusting was a little better? Because when you think of Canada, you think of big Canada, second largest landmass in the world after Russia. Bigger than America, but 10 times less population. So did you find that it was a little better, like you kind of transitioned into the Canadian lifestyle, so to speak?
It was kind of different because it was more so isolated in a way. Because like back home where I'm from, at least in Chippingham, it's like everybody know everybody. So it's like you know every day you go outside, you like socializing or communicating with other people from different households. But like, yeah, it was more so you guys talk in class or whatever it is, and if you see them in the hallway, hey, what's up? But it's not really too much to do. But then that's my experience. It could be different for someone else, but that's how it was with me.
So how far is Chippingham from Nassau?
No, Chippingham is in Nassau.
So it's like
it's the best community in Nassau to me.
I see. So it's like a municipality, because in Canada we're trying, you know, like say you live in St. John's and then you've got like Kilbride and Airport Heights. It's broken up into regions, I guess. So Chippingham is part of the big umbrella of Nassau.
I guess you could call it like a district, because we have a lot of different communities. You got like places where people say Camp Road, you got Fox Hill, you got Stapleton Gardens, Yellow Ella Gardens, you got Elizabeth Estates, you got Yamacraw. Like, it's different areas, but I don't know exactly how I would break it down to someone outside of that. But like if you say like St. John's, Mount Pearl, CBS, that type of way, but very small, because it's like small, close-knit communities. Because I grew up on Farrington Road, and we got like we got Rock Rusher, Chippingham, Curry Mission. I don't want to miss nobody out Harlem. Like we got those type of communities on that one long strip, but it's like different back home.
I mean, in relation to Canada, it's similar. Like again, we've got municipalities, suburbs, and little towns, and so on. You're in a work-study program,
right? Co-op,
Co-op. So do you find that's better because it's a program where you could work, you earn money for the work term, then you go back to school, as opposed to going full to school and finding a job? How are you adjusting to this work term study, and then we'll get into how you factor in the music?
Well, at first it was kind of confusing in a way, because, you know, you got to readjust every 4 months or every other 4 months. But over time, it's like, it's cool, because like you said, you get to make money. And like in my situation, I got a scholarship, but that still doesn't cover everything. So I'll be able to pay my expenses on tuition or whatever it is I have to deal with. And at the same time, still have extra money for other bills. If I need help, then I just call who I need to call. But other than that, like, it's good. And plus, it gives you a break from the schooling.
Yeah,
which you need that, trust me. Like, looking at calculations all day, every day, you need that 4 months.
Yeah.
But now, coming back in, that's a little issue, because it's like you got to shake off that lazy spirit in a way.
Oh, man. And, you know, I think sometimes people feel, coming from the warm, sunny islands in the Caribbean, we move at a certain pace. We have a different lifestyle, but it doesn't mean people are lazy and don't want to work. Like, you know, you feel, well, this is sunshine. Like, why are we rushing around? But like you said, you want to shed the lazy spirit, and we are guilty of a little bit of that.
Everybody,
me included,
every now and then.
And it's good. You got to rejuvenate, you know? So you told me when we had our nice little informal chats, you actually started saving when you were young in the Bahamas, because you had all these visions going on, and you felt, I got to do it now. So who motivated you, or what motivated you to start this journey back in the Bahamas?
To be honest with you, I feel like it comes from seeing a lot of people, I guess what you could say, fail or end up in a cycle where so much years pass, 10, 20 years pass, you still don't have whatever you need to have together. You don't have it together yet. So it's like, I witnessed a lot of that. And it's like, even if, God forbid, I end up in the same type of predicament, at least I'll be able to say I tried something different or tried it a different way. And at the same time, too, like back home, a lot of people from where I'm from, in my community at least, not a lot of people try to get further in education, whereas I know the further you get, the more paperwork or degrees you get. I just look at it like you limit or you eliminate some politics. That's how I look at it. And a lot of people they don't have that. So it's like they have to deal with a lot of politics, so they wouldn't get the contract or the job that they should get because this person knows this person or this person already went for this. And at the same time too, it's like once I get what I need to get, it's like I could go back and help people no matter the age, because like a lot of people back home, they do construction. A lot of people in my community, they do construction or landscaping or whatever it is. But there's no one who could like really open certain doors for them.
So what motivated you? I want to do engineering and I'm going to go away to Canada and do engineering.
Okay, so with engineering, I know my father and my grandfather, they were both general contractors. My father still is a general contractor today, but it's like I grew up kind of watching them do things with their hands. Well, my father, not really my grandfather, but I hear the stories and we have pictures and stuff like this, because even my uncles, we have an auto body repair shop back home too, so it's like we always been hands-on. And it's like, that's cool and all, but to get like to the real money of it or the real contracts or to even diversify or get more exposure to different parts of the world with it, I feel like you need certain things that we don't have back home. So it's like you gotta go abroad to do it. And then me coming to Canada was a situation where honestly I was just trying to check out the market on prices for different universities and colleges. Because at the same time, I don't have like $1 million in the stash or in the ground or in the dirt waiting for me to go dig it up and use it.
Hey, listen, some of the wealthiest Canadians came from abroad and it came with pennies in their pockets. So and trust me, I know a few of their stories from reading. So we all got to start somewhere, right? Including Jeff Bezos. He started from a little plywood desk with handwritten sides. So yes, it's all about being driven, being focused, and being motivated. But listen, we're going to take a quick break so you and I can have water and herbal tea and all this good stuff to refuel. Exactly. And we're going to hear a poem written by Peter Jailal called Second Migration, but read by Renata Sumintra Lang.
Second Migration by Peter Jailal. Aware of my traditional ways from peasantry, my tech-savvy son navigated the net, surfing for a suitable hotel. Good price, he announced joyfully. The next day, we drove 500 miles in the white winter rain to the Holiday Inn in Philadelphia. His head held high, he stepped confidently into the waiting elevator. Welcome to the bourgeois living, Dad, he teased. It's lovely, I replied, then reminded him of Dorothy's longing for Kansas. There's no place like home, the ancestral home, my son.
Thank you for listening. That was a poem by Peter Jailal, Second Migration. Peter is an author, poet, and teacher in Mississauga, Ontario, where he lives. And that poem was read by Renata.
Hey, this is Dean from Collective Soul, and you're listening to 93.5 CHMR.
Oh, I'm newly calibrated, all shiny and clean.
All right, so we're going to get into the crux of things, and we're going to hear this track by the one and only Vivi TheOnly, Mode.
Beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode. Ain't no G code on the island, but I live by the shit with my brothers. I can't trust so. I can't even trust my mother. Snaked a couple times, I can't really trust my brothers. If I ever say I love you, then that means I really love you. If I give my last, you mine. If you need it, then I got it, just ask mine. Yo, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode. We was in the spot looking through the bar hole. Police round the corner, so they screaming, watch the road. Lost souls on some murder, they screaming just souls. I can't see myself, here's no slave. Gotta get up, get paid with my dogs. We gon' get it all for one for all, like the musketeers. We've been grinding for too many years. I done went broke too many times. When you start to shine, they try to close the blinds. 8 hours, we just overtime.
Beast mode, you
don't need no days off. Remember, do road and do things. Make sure you don't trust nobody. You know what? Make a sure where you go.
Beast mode, ain't no G code on the island, but I live by this with my brothers. I can't trust her. I can't even trust my mother. Snaked a couple times, I can't really trust my brothers. If I ever say I love you, then that means I really love you. If I give my last, you mine. If you need it, then I got it, just ask mine. Yo, win or lose, what you tryna do? Make a move, you ain't got shit to prove. Hit a lick, then hit another. Ayy, hit a, then hit the mother. Ayy, pimp, take your time, move like the Taliban. We all bleed, can't fear no man. Rollie on my left wrist, I don't even flex. I can talk my shit, tell them lay the rest. Got a target on your back, so you gotta move lightly. Checks coming in, just do it like Nike. Got a couple grand in my pocket in a white tee. We can make them M's in a minute, recite me. Beast mode, ain't no G code on the island, but I live by the with my brothers. I can't trust her. I can't even trust my mother. Snaked a couple times, I can't really trust my brothers. If I ever say I love you, then that means I really love you. If I give my last, you mine. If you need it, then I got it, just ask mine. Yo.
All right, that was Vivi TheOnly, and we were listening to Mode. Welcome back, Vivi.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing great. How you feeling?
Cool, chilly.
Yeah. And this is winter break or reading week.
Yeah,
what do we
whatever
call
it
it?
is. I call it study week.
Study week,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I finished school so long ago, I forget. We used to call it winter break back
Yeah.
in my day. But anyhow, at least you don't have to rush off
Right.
the classes and stuff.
True.
So, on the good note of listening to your music, let's move into the music scene. So tell me, I mean, you've done music in the Bahamas,
All right.
am I right?
All right.
So when you came to Newfoundland, was music on the forefront for you?
I mean, I was looking at it like I'm in Canada, so it's like, why not at the same time while I'm here? Because I don't want to just waste the time or just use the time focusing on one thing when I still got other things I do that I need to be advancing at the same time.
Absolutely. And how did you get into it? Like,
Music?
I mean, your first order of business was study.
Right.
Mom and dad, your family expected you
I gotta
to come.
say too though. I gotta say too, not to cut you off. Sorry.
No.
But like, I feel like the educated part too that come from my mother. Cause it's like when it come to books and stuff, like she crazy about that type of stuff. So it's like because of what she deal with me or whatever, it's like that just come to me. Like I know how to adopt certain things. So when it comes to learning, I don't see it as a very hard thing, like how other people might find it hard.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's on the count of 3 say a big thank you to Mom. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you,
Mom. You gotta love moms, right? They put
Yeah.
you on the right path. Eh?
Yeah.
So tell me about it. What motivated you on this big island of Newfoundland to continue your music?
Well, honestly, it was more so me just taking the time to still learn the technicalities behind it. Like, for instance, with my situation, all my music that I got released, well, as Vivi TheOnly, I record all my music, I edited all my music. It's some stuff I learned recently, though, so the quality will be getting better over time. But,
Mhm.
like, I just wanted to keep producing, even with my beats and stuff like that, or instruments. My latest tape that I dropped, November 18th last year,
Mhm.
all the songs on there, even the Mode song that you just played, I produced that, I mixed that, mastered that. And like I said, the quality gonna get better now. But it's like, I still look at it like I need to keep on getting better with it, because that's the only way if I keep practicing with it.
How you said you did it all. So do you have a little studio set up in your house?
I have the necessities. I wouldn't call it a studio, but I know how to get it done.
All right. And we were talking about speaking of dollars and cents and checks and balances, it's quite pricey.
It is.
To get someone else to do it.
Trust me, to get somebody else to do it. Now, it's also a situation where you get what you pay for, but I've always been the type of person, like, if I get into something or if I'm doing something, I never had an issue with trying to learn for myself. Because it's like, at the end of the day, like, let's say we all have to depend on one person to do something for us. If something was to happen to that person or they move somewhere else, what you supposed to do, just stop. Whereas, because you know how to do it as well, you might not know how to do it how they do it, but because you know how to do it too, when they go, you still could continue doing what you're doing. Because at the end of the day, you still got to live.
So you have a tough program, engineering.
Very.
You got work study. You have to manage the house, cook, clean, shop.
Don't remind me.
Oh,
Don't
man,
remind me.
you know, how are you fitting music in?
Well, I keep saying during my academic semesters, I'll just focus on school and then put the music on the back burner till the work semester. But then it's like, you know, late at night, you feel certain energy or whatever it is, and you want to say, okay, let me go record a song or let me go make a beat or whatever it is. And it's like, because I got the equipment that I could just bounce up and do what I got to do. And I feel like it's a pro and a con at the same time. It's good because I got it, but it's kind of bad sometimes when I need to be studying. But it is what it is at the end of the day.
Absolutely. But you seem to be fitting it all in nicely. And you like on occasions to sequester yourself to your nice abode. No problem. Don't come and bother me. You like the limelight, but you like your time. So you use your time wisely, right?
Right, trying to. Because I tell people too, like, especially how we young, you can't be wasting these years. Because I was telling you the other day when I saw you in the hallway, like, I know a lot of older people, like, I'm talking like 20, 30, 40 years older than me. And all of them, like, when they see who I am and we grow a relationship or whatever, they let me know, like, hey, don't waste time. And a lot of people too, like I was telling you, like, when it comes to my family, like family, friends, whenever they come and visit or whatever, and these people, my parents or my uncles or whoever knew for years, 20, 30, 40 years, they let me know the same thing, like, hey, watch the company you keep. So it's like things like that always kept me a certain way. Because it's like, even with, I have a lot of friends who died, and it's like, because of that, all of this what made me live how I live. I'm not saying it's bad, don't get me wrong. I guess sometimes it'll be a little lonely to be to yourself, but like, it is what it is. I socialize and everything, but I don't really hang out or hang up too much. But that's nothing against nobody though. That's just who I am. That's how I am.
And your friends, just to pick up on what you said, your friends that died in the Bahamas, right? I mean, how did you cope with all of that?
I mean, like, to be honest with you, I don't even, like I was telling you, like, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like over time you kind of get not used to it, but it's like you get used to the feeling, I guess. So it's like, because whatever you did the first or second or third time it happened, you know, your mind knows what you did to cope with it. It's like over time it just automatic. That's what happens. Like you just, okay, whatever. Because even last year in December when I went back home from my grandmother's funeral
in 2019,
like I think I went home on a Tuesday, but the Thursday before that I got a friend, D'Angelo Mortimer, rest in peace, long live. He ended up dying, getting killed going out. But it's like,
oh no,
I felt that and I shed tears or whatever, but it was like, that's how it is. And I always feel like too, after I lost so many friends, it's like they watching over me still like guardian angels, because I still feel them from every now and then. So it's like, it is what it is.
I'm very sorry to hear about that. I know you did mention. And how old was he? I
think defense was probably from 24, 25, because what was it? Today is what, the 19th?
20th.
20th. I think 2 days ago or yesterday was his birthday. Yesterday.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So we have to say rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
And you have, not to marginalize his death or any of your friends, but the guardian angel thing is really nice to know, because you feel they're always with you. Do you feel these experiences, tragic as they are, have influenced your music? You do a lot of your songwriting, or do you do all? I do
all my songwriting. Like, everything I talk about, that's my story. As Damascus, that's me saying it as Vivi. That's how it is. Like, that's me. Like, I'm not lying in no music, no song, no nothing. Anything I say, that's what I've been through or what I witnessed growing up.
Do you try to make light or make something positive? I mean, in spite of the tragedy?
Most definitely. Me being here today, I feel like coming from where I come from is a big positive. Or just from where I come from, at least.
Well, you have a good attitude, which is really good, you know. And your friends and, well, their families back in the Bahamas, just off the side, how are they coping with their young son dying in gang-related violence,
So a lot of times, too, it's not even the gang situation. It's just, like, the way I feel is company. But a lot of times, it'll be over foolishness. And it's like when a life already lost, then that's it. It already gone. But, like, my last visit, the visit before the last visit I went and I visited the Russells. That's a family from where I'm from. Like, my friend, his name was Brandon Russell. He ended up getting killed as well. I think he was, like, one of the first said that I witnessed. And it was, like, when I visit them, they still wear his, what you call it? The clip. Like, you know, when you got ribbon? Not the ribbon. It's like they have the photo of the person or the image or whatever it is, and they have it on a pin. I can't remember what they call it, but anyway, they still, like, wear it every day. They still got, like, stickers and everything they give to people. Like, that's something I don't feel like you would ever get over, because that's their child still. Like, they feel a different way because they literally been there from the first day. My friends been there, so it's like they feel a different way than I feel. But at the same time, we still feel pain over whatever it was. But it's like, you know.
I know. We're going to continue this invigorating discussion, and we're going to hear it from another Bahamian artist, Ronnie Butler, Bahama Rock.
Everybody's out there on the dock. They're doing what we call Bahama rock. Hey, 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 hey. Oh, yeah. Bahama rock. Early in the morning till late at night, everybody's happy, no one's uptight. Early in the morning till late at night, everybody's happy, no one's uptight. Rock from sun to sun, and then we give the returner some. Oh yeah, Bahama rock. Oh yeah, Bahama rock. Everybody's out there on the dock. They're doing what we call Bahama rock. Yeah, oh yeah, Bahama rock. Lots of people from all around the other islands and Nassau town. They get together to do their thing. Oh man, how they dance and sing like a superstar. We're gonna give it to our man on the guitar. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Everybody's out there on the dock. They're doing what we call Bahama rock. Hey, hey, hey. Oh yeah, Bahama rock. Ronnie and the Ramblers, that's our name. This kind of
well, all right, we're jamming. I wanna jam it with you.
You're jamming to CHMR 93.5.
And I hope you like jamming too.
Run it! This one the hit, yo. Greetings, everyone. This is Jordan Ben from Jamaica, and you're listening to 93.5 CHMR FM. Or check us out online at chmr.ca.
Stop me and say, sir, can I speak to you? Let me see your bag, we smell something funny. We said, true, that's a pardon me. I'm another criminal, so get on your searching. But let me tell you though, if you never know, I'm an island man with an African culture. No drugs, no in my bag.
You're listening to Caribbean Connections.
Are you
Here we go. The West Indies senior team had a good practice game against Sri Lanka Cricket 11 at the Pisara Oval in Colombo, Sri Lanka, as they prepare for tomorrow's opening match of the ODI series. The exclusion of Simran Hitmire and Evan Lewis from the squad due to fitness concerns opened the door for the return of Darren Bravo and Brandon King. King failed to make an impression, falling for a duck in the second over, but Bravo made the most of his opportunity as he slammed the century off 88 balls before retiring. Sunil Ambris and Nicholas Puran each chipped in with 41 runs as the West Indies made a decent score of 282. The pace attack of Sheldon Cottrell, Alzari Joseph and Jason Holder all looked in good form with the ball, though Kemo Paul was a tad expensive. The spinners, Hayden Walsh and Fabian Allen, both seemed ready for opening day, though it looks like just one of them will get a chance in this match. After the fifth round of matches in the West Indies First-Class Championship, the Barbados Pride extended their lead in the standings over the second-place Guyana Jaguars. Barbados secured an easy victory by a margin of 299 runs over Trinidad and Tobago, thanks primarily to 2 5-wicket returns in the match form from Keon Harding. A superb 115 runs from Kevin Stout, along with half-centuries from Craig Brathwaite and Shane Mosley, had left TNT with a daunting target of 376 before the Barbados bowlers dismissed them for just 77 runs. In a high-scoring contest, centuries from Leon Johnson, 189, and Chris Barnwell, 107, took Guyana to a mammoth score of 426 in reply to the Windward Islands' first innings total of 318. Devon Smith and Kevin Hodge both scored centuries for the Windwards in reply before the match straggled to an inevitable draw.
Well, all original cricket for the all West Indian and way for the hand man. Tell them have some little put together team around the world and talk about them more contest the big WI. I don't tell you. Yo, where they come from? Where they come from? Where for all? Where for the world?
What island we come from? West Indies. Answer the call. West Indies. Come let me show them. West Indies. Come rally on. West Indies. What island we come from? West Indies. Answer the call. West Indies. Show them we culture. West Indies. Come rally on. West Indies.
I should have wanna play cricket, but you take all them wicked. Any team tells you know we're going to wreck it, and we batsman them all select it. 6 or a 4, you know we're going to make it. And him bowl LBW. Him want make a run and go bowling for ducks. Bowling for ducks and him run out of luck. West Indies will get the gold cup.
What island we come from? West Indies. Answer the call. West Indies. Come let me show them. West Indies. Come rally on. West Indies. What island we come from? West Indies. Answer the call. West Indies. Show them we culture.
Glorious hit. Not the first one that he's hit. Played some lovely shots. Marlon Samuels brings up his 50. 54 of 46. The strike rate steadily improving. Oh, further. That is nibbled and drilled. And again, he doesn't get the Yorker right. This has been a superb innings from Samuels. Comes their real asset. And they nervous day, nervous night. It was just a flick. Just a flick off his feet. Marlon Samuels. Gone way into the stands. Just look at the way he renews himself. He's hit that one hard. There's a fielder down there. It's going to be out court. Yep, another one out. They can't hit sixes, can they? Here's it throw in. Trying to go offside. Finding the edge of Badri's fingers. Great turnaround in this match. And the dances are coming out. And just some style. Not far enough, I don't think. Not far enough, comfortably. Samuel adds something to the wickets column. In addition to the runs, the vital runs, the match-winning runs that he scored, they're dusting it off. They're dusting him off for the man of the match. Keep him clean.
And the people love it. And him ball and we lick it before. Lick it before and the ball on board.
Well, Sri Lanka have actually looked really good throughout the tournament. This is the moment. This is the moment. It is the moment. The West Indies have won the 2012 World T20. 37 runs the margin.
If you're ready to get on board, say yeah. If you're ready to wave your flag, say yeah. If you're ready to show them how, say yeah. So jump, bossy, wave, bossy, jump. Tyler, we come from answer the call. Come, let me show them. Come rally on. Tyler, we come from answer the call. Come, let me culture. Come rally on. Tyler, we come from answer the call. Come, let me show them. Come rally on. Tyler, we come from answer the call. Come, let me culture. Come rally on.
Hey there, take a listen at this. All this. All this too. My name is Ugwede Ikechukwu. Join me every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. where we do everything Africa. From the music to the current news to the history, from the Horn of Africa up to the north to the west and down to the south. And again, back here to St. John's. That's every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. right here on the One African Show.
Welcome back. Hey, Vivi.
Hey.
Welcome back. Here, let's set up our microphone.
Good to
How
go.
you doing?
You know I good.
You look really relaxed there, man.
Gotta be.
Listen, we bringing the sun, and the salty waters with all the good vibes of the Caribbean
I
into
wish I
the
could feel it.
studio.
I wish I could feel it.
Man, you're not supposed to say that. You got to say, I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling blessed.
So let's get with the flow, as you would say. We're getting close to the end of the program, and like you and I were talking during break, it's hard to believe an hour has gone by, and 2 hours in total. So, without further ado, let's move on with this invigorating discussion. And we're going to ask you about, we know you got to study number one, and we know you're finding time for your music. Tell us some of the places you've performed, or you don't have to give names, but where and how you're doing, what you're doing with your music.
Well, I know even before I came to Canada, I tried to perform a few places. But then it was like, because I started thinking I needed to deal with school, it was like the money I was spending on clothes or whatever it is in terms of me, because I always like to wear my name when I go out to certain places, or even trying to spend money to get from A to B or whatever it was like, I could be putting this towards something else that could be getting me back money like right now, because like the school was and still is like the first priority to get this out the way, because I know once I get this out the way, then I know it could just be whatever I want to do after that. But so far since I came to Canada, I performed a few places. Bless you, the Rock House, and that's this place up the street from the
Boca.
Not Boca.
Dusk,
right? But with Dusk, I think I was it was hosting, not performing. Yeah, that was with a few different promoters and stuff down here.
So do you find that being in all these venues are giving you more exposure?
Well, at the time it was, but at the same time, it's like you got to think about it from a bigger point of view. Like, I want the music to be heard, so it's like if I go and perform, but at the same time, because I so worried about or dealing with my expenses school-wise, I can't really spend my money like to have posters up everywhere every week or whatever it is. It's like kind of defeating the purpose, because it's like people see the face, but they can't really put the music to it or put a name to it in a way. Because even if like they see me out on the road or whatever, they just be like, okay, that's that guy who is on stage or whatever. So it's like if they can't constantly hear the product or the content in front of them every day or whatever it is, it's like it kind of defeating the purpose. So I kind of step away from that. But it's like even with me stepping away, it's me getting the music better, because I got 2 more years and 2 months of school left. So it's like pressure after
counting down,
I'm telling
my
you,
friend.
pressure after that.
So you also work with some promoters, right? So do you find that beneficial?
I feel like everything is beneficial in terms of learning. So like when I look at it like that, yeah.
And what is the funnest part of doing your music?
Honestly, when you see you hit the stage, it's like, I don't know, like, you just do what you want to do, how you want to do it. And then it's like, I don't know, I just feel free.
Yeah.
Like, if you come, you've been to one of the shows before.
Yeah.
But like, people who never been to the shows, it's just going to get better.
And look, it's all a learning curve, right?
All day, most definitely, good and bad.
You got a full-time job with school.
Right.
And when you're not at school, you're working full-time with your work term. But interestingly, and a lot of performers say that they really enjoy being on stage. But after that, you don't want nobody bother you.
I wouldn't
Why?
say that.
Okay, you tell it like it is.
If we there that night, I perform in whatever it is. Like, I there for the night. Like, let's do whatever. We cool. Like, even if I don't know you, if your energy good, because I go off of energy, first of all. Like, whatever it is, I go off of energy. So, like, if the energy good, then we could vibe out all night. We could party all night. We could do whatever. But now, even if you, like, I see people out on the road or whatever it is, too. If the energy good, then it is what it is. But some days, I just want to stick to myself or whatever it is, so I stay out the way.
That's what I mean. Like, after you perform, you want to, of course, meet the patrons. They came to see you or the show.
Or whatever it is.
But when you go home, that is your time.
Yeah, that's me. I chill out. Because even if you, like, honestly, too, like, even with, like, social media and stuff like that, I don't really use it. Like, I should use it. And I don't know if that's just me growing up, how I grew up. Because, like, when I was younger, I was really an outside type of person. So it's like I live life that type of way. So it's like with the recording and everything and stuff, that I do it now because of music and everything. But outside of that, I don't really think that's like my type of lifestyle.
Well, it's called maturing, my friend.
Yeah, it is.
You know, as we enter different stages of our lives, some things go by the wayside, and other things become a better priority. Like you see, why am I worrying over this situation? You know. But how do you balance it all? Do you work? How do you get some downtime some R&R.
See,
What do you do?
I know you see a gun show, so you are asking about the work. No, just
I
playing
gotta
with you.
know,
But
man.
yeah, I like.
Inquiring minds want to know. In radio journalism, like other journalism, it's our business. Up in my business. Remember, I play that song
At the end
for
of the
a
day,
reason.
it's business. At the end of the day, it's business.
Yeah, it's
But
my
yeah,
business. I need to know.
I
You
work
tell
out.
me.
I work out to pass the time, like to get rid of. I guess the energy that I have built up in me.
Yeah.
I try to get rid of it through working out or whatever it is.
Mhm.
But the music is a big like key to that though.
Yeah. Music is like food for the soul. So do you listen to your headphones, music, when you're
I don't
working
even-
out?
Like whenever, oh, most definitely. Like I'd be probably listening to me and other artists too, though. But like I always got off my headphones and like I gotta be listening to something. But that I guess that come from me playing basketball too when I was younger, because I was MVP and I was the captain of the teams for the last high school I went to, and
Mhm.
even before that I was still on the teams from like grade 5 at my previous high schools and primary schools. So
Mhm.
it's like, I guess certain things I take from the athletic point of view, I
Mhm.
still do it today.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's good to hear. And
Yeah.
you know, and we talked about this on different days and
Right,
times,
right.
studying, sleeping, eating,
Right.
working out. So
The essentials.
exactly. You've been in Newfoundland and Labrador 2.5 years now.
Basically, yeah.
Are you feeling more at home here?
Honestly, I feel like over time I got more comfortable for real. Like even the way I like walk or talk, however it is, I guess you could. I don't know. It's like you feel the shift in yourself.
Mhm.
So it's like I feel more comfortable now than when I first got checked. Cause like I said, it was like it's still like a different lifestyle than back home, but it's like you gotta adapt.
And your circle is expanding.
Right.
You said you've made more friends.
I met
Right.
new people. See, that's another thing too. Like with me, when it comes to like where it's like friends and family, like I take them two things serious, but I go off of energy too. So it's like long as you don't show me like no bad or evil
Bad
or whatever
side.
it is, right? We good to go. Like once
Yeah.
I see you not bad minded, we good to go.
It's funny you say that word bad-minded. You know,
Yeah.
in the rest of the Caribbean, they use that a lot.
Right.
And when you say somebody bad-minded for our fellow Newfoundlanders, it means you're in good.
Right.
Stay away,
Stay
right?
away. Bad company.
Bad energy,
Bad energy.
bad
You don't
company.
need that.
No. And I mean, mom and dad and your family back home, they know you have about 2 years, 2
Right.
months left.
2 years,
to
2
be
months. Make sure you
exact.
say that. Yeah.
And you quoted me. I'm gonna quote you when we were talking. You said, "Do what you gotta do when you are still young, and
Right.
never forget your people." So,
Right.
what did you mean by that?
Okay, that goes back to what I was saying earlier, like me growing up around older people or generations older than mine. I still grew up and hung out with the people in my age bracket, but like I spent more time with older people, and just them telling me their life experiences was like, okay, even if they don't be direct and say, hey, don't waste time while you're young, because you know a lot of people will tell you to, oh, you young, you gotta live and this, that, and the third, but it's like I just take pieces from everything they tell me or I
Mhm.
learn, and it's like, okay, common sense, or my common sense is don't waste the time, because 20, 30 years, when you 40, 50, it's harder to try and start something than if you're trying to start from 20, because like this the time when you try to do what you got to do, and if you mess up, it is what it is, but you still got the time to go as long as you still living and you
Mhm.
healthy and take care of yourself. And then the second part, what was it, what you said?
You also said, "Never forget your people."
Oh, hell no. Never,
no.
never. That's like when I tell you, like, I say that I'm from Nassau, but I always tell people, like, I'm from Chippingham, though. Like, I got to let you know the community or the neighborhood, like we say, that's where I grew up. Like, that's where I spent most of my time. So that's
Mhm.
like, I never forget the people who I grew up with now. That doesn't mean I still go and chill out in the same spots or whatever, but I never forget where I come from.
Hmm. Who said this quote? It's Black History Month, and I'm gonna trivia, and I'm gonna see who you're gonna guess first.
Before you start, though, this multiple choice?
No, it's just a quote, and
Okay.
you gotta tell me who said that.
Okay.
There are 2 quotes, and I've chosen it because they pertain to what we're talking about here. The first one is, "The time is always right to do what is right," and the second one is, "In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." Who do you think quoted these words?
to be honest, I feel like whoever the quoted person is,
Make
it was
a
a part
guess.
of who influenced Vivi TheOnly. But I don't know. I gotta be real.
Who is one of the, I guess, outside of America then,
Mhm.
the most well-known African-American civil rights leader, activist, fighter?
We got MLK.
Dr. Martin Luther King. You got it right. 100%, my friend.
you.
You do well in your engineering program. And, you know, I just felt that as simple as those two are, they're very impactful
Right.
for people of all walks of life,
Right.
nationality, and professions.
Could you say it again?
The first one is, the time is always right
Right.
to do what is right.
Right.
And the second quote from Dr. Martin Luther King, in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends.
That's deep.
That is deep,
That's
man. And you know, singing and writing on behalf of your brothers who died so tragically at a young age.
Not even
right?
to cut you off, but even in my music, like that last quote when you was like, we remember the silence of our friends. I think that like to
Silence,
the outside
yes.
world, a lot of people see the Bahamas, and don't get me wrong, it's a very beautiful place, but like the things they promote is the truth too, like the
Mhm.
beauty and everything to get tourists and everything. But at the same time, it's other parts of the Bahamas or in the city, and it's like they don't like to shine light on that, because I look at it as good or bad, it's still a part of what influences you or makes you who you are. So it's like you gotta accept that. Like I don't feel like anything is really bad. It's just how we classify things as good and bad. But I feel like all of that is a part of the life. So it's like in my music, I always keep it real. Like that's what I talking about. I letting people know about the things too that they don't get to see or probably don't even think would happen in a place like the Bahamas.
Mhm.
But it's like, hey, there's still the world. Like you gotta know this how it is.
What do you want to say to the folks out there in wrapping up? If you were to sum up everything, what is one or two advice or remarks you want to tell us?
Okay, let me see. Don't waste time. That's all my.
That's a good one.
Do what you gotta do. Stay focused. Don't waste your youth. Don't be a person. Like try to be a leader. Don't be a follower.
Mm.
Like they the main things I tell people. Stay focused on what you gotta do, and always like remember why you started something. So like even if you feel discouraged, cause like that's a part of it too. Like people get discouraged cause things not working out, but it's like keep pushing or keep doing what you gotta do, cause that's the only way I get in where I get in too. So it's like I could only tell you what I tell myself
Keep the fight going.
all day.
Vivi, thank you so much for coming in today. It's been a wonderful chat. It was great having you. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I do wish you all the best, not only in your studies, in the music, in life, in Newfoundland, wherever you go. If you go back to visit the Bahamas, hi to mom and dad and the family. Hey, what's up?
What's up? What's going on? What's carrying on?
And I really want to thank you. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
as well. I really like what you're doing too, like trying to do for everybody, which are giving international students and even people from your different type of platform to talk about certain things that cultural wise at least that people don't really get to listen to or hear or know about.
Mhm.
So I feel like that's a big thing that you're doing too. So thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure and my honor. And CHMR is Newfoundland's only alternative radio station. So when you guys get bored of the pop stuff, not that the other stations aren't good, but we offer a lot of good stuff. And kudos to the folks here. Hans Rollman, our program director.
Big up.
Yeah, big up indeed. Colleen Power,
Big up.
our news director, and Bob Earl, our
Big up, big
station
up, big up.
manager. You come and see us anytime.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Vivi. And to take us out this Thursday and into the weekend, we're going to hear it from the man himself, Vivi TheOnly with Baby. But before I go, stay well and healthy, y'all. Take care of yourselves and of each other. And listen, next week, we have an awesome program for you here. We have, continuing with Black History Month, we're going to have for the first hour next Thursday, the 27th, 4 actually, young, brilliant, and resourceful and talented entrepreneurs. The first hour will be Michael Collins, Onan Rolle, and Cuthbert Akkard. And for the second hour will be Sylvester Edmond. Sylvester is the creative director of 709 Supply Company. So join us next week, and we're going to hear the awesome story from these talented, brilliant entrepreneurs. In the meantime, guys, have a safe, wonderful, and great weekend. Take care of yourselves, and we're going to hear it from Vivi TheOnly.
Yo, we need all the bad things to step forward right now. You know who you are. Don't stand too far. Now come shine like the star you are, baby. Yo, if you bad and you know it, baby, clap your hands. Yo, if you never need a man, baby, take a stand. Whoa, you know you will run it up, then baby, get them grands. Yeah. He can't, she can't, but you know you can. Whoa, if you bad and you know it, baby, clap your hands. Yo, if you never need a man, baby, take a stand. Yeah, you know you will run it up, then baby, get them grands. He can't, she can't, but you know you can. Lil' mama, yeah, run that money up. Is hate, just hate, still don't give a Nah, why she never fall in love? She don't care enough. Don't get me wrong, she loving, she just focused on the bucks. Nothing wrong with love, she got a friend that stay in love, but not with these figures. And then they got a friend with a boyfriend. Fell in love with the nigga, but still getting bangs. With her clique, she don't give a shit. Baby on some gangster shit. Baby gangster, baby is a savage, yeah. Baby fresh, baby flex, no both flex. Baby know the hustle, do more, say less. If you bad and you know it, baby, clap your hands. If you never need a man, baby, take a stand. You know you will run it up, then baby, get them grands. He can't, she can't, but you know you can. If you bad and you know it, baby, clap your hands. If you never need a man, baby, take a stand. You know you will run it up, then baby, get them grands. He can't, she can't, but you know you can. He can't, she can't, baby, do your thing. In your own lane, baby, ain't no need to change. You been through some things, so you know how to bring the pain. Wasn't making sense, so you left them in the rain. Middle fingers up, you don't really give a what now. You could turn it up, you been grinding for a midnight. Got a couple spots, cause you a boss chick. Got a bunch of plots, you could get these millions. Then spread it with the fam, loyalty bring royalty. You a queen, body clean, yeah, like it's supposed to be. You pull up and get the job done, yeah, he's a lead. You don't fake, you too straight, so you got enemies. If you bad and you know it, baby, clap your hands. If you never need a man, baby, take a stand. You know you will run it up, then baby, get them grands. He can't, she can't, but you know you can. If you bad and you know it, baby, clap your hands. If you never need a man, baby, take a stand. You know you will run it up, then baby, get them grands. He can't, she can't, but you know you can. Whoa.
This is 93.5 CHMR FM.
University students often have a lot on their plates, but a busy academic